Good morning, everyone. So, in the previous lecture, we have discussed about some important terms like system, surrounding, boundary layer, and what is a process, what are thermodynamic variables, the types of processes, what is a cycle, and open cycle, closed cycle, and what are state function, what are path function. So, state functions are those which depend only upon the initial and the final stage, and we can also write it in the form of delta, like we have delta t. Delta t is final time minus initial time. Okay, similarly we have delta u, which is internal energy, also written in the form of u2 minus u1. So these all are state function, but path function cannot be written in the form of delta. Like we have work and heat, they cannot be written in the form of change. They depend upon the path of the system. Okay, so let's move on to some important terms. So first we have intensive property. Intensive property, intensive properties and extensive properties. So these are also quite important. Extensive property and intensive property. Firstly, what is an intensive property? So the quantities which are independent of the mass of the system are said to be intensive property, and the quantities which depend on the mass of the system are known as extensive properties. So intensive properties are those the quantities which are independent of the mass of the system are known as intensive properties, and on the other hand the quantities which depend on the mass of the system are known as extensive properties. Okay, so let's discuss some examples of intensive as well as extensive properties. So I am taking a container to be a system. Okay, so this is a container, I am taking it as a system. So if I change the mass of the system, then we have to check what quantities are changed and what are remain same. So firstly, I am dividing this container into two parts. Okay, so the mass will become half. Okay, I am dividing it into two equal parts with the help of a partition. So these are the two compartments of this container. So the mass is m. So here the mass will become m by 2. Here we also have m by 2. So mass is a extensive property. Okay. So mass is extensive property. I am writing over here the examples of extensive property. So next we have volume. So if we divide it into two equal parts, then the volume will also become half. Okay, so v by 2, and that is why volume is also extensive. Next we have pressure. Pressure will remain the same. Okay, so here if we have here 1 atm, then after dividing it into two equal parts, the pressure will remain the same. So P and P. That is why pressure is an intensive property. Next we have temperature. So if we divide the container into two compartments, then the temperature will also remain same. That is why it is also an intensive property. Next we have moles. moles. So the moles will become half. The moles will become half. That is why moles are extensive properties. And next we have density. Okay, what is density? Density is mass by volume. So now on dividing it into two parts, the mass will become half. Similarly, volume is also half. 2 and 2 cancel each other. That is why we will get again m by v, which is d. So that is why density will remain the same. Density will remain the same. That is why density is an intensive property. Next we have concentration. So we have molarity. Molarity is what? Number of moles. Number of moles divided by volume. So now again the moles become half, volume become half. So we will get again n by v, which is equal to molarity. So that is why concentration will always remain same. They are considered to be as intensive. Next we have heat. Similarly, we will have EMF, heat capacity. EMF will also remain the same in both the compartments. Okay, so EMF is also considered to be as intensive. So next we have internal energy. Internal energy will become half. It depends on the internal energy is denoted by U or E. I am denoting it by U. So internal energy will also become half. That is why internal energy is extensive property. And next we have heat capacity. Heat capacity is denoted by C. So what is heat capacity? Heat capacity is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of the system by 1 degree Celsius. So it is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of the system by 1 degree Celsius. So now if the mass of the system become half, then we have to supply less amount of heat in order to increase the temperature. Okay, so heat capacity is also extensive. But if we fix the mass, next we have specific heat capacity. Specific heat capacity is what? It is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of the system only. So if we have 1 gram here, if I take 1 gram here, and similarly we will have 1 gram here, 1 gram here. So we have to supply the same amount of energy in all the three cases. That is why it is considered to be as intensive. Specific heat capacity, okay, denoted by CS, as is in the subscript. And because here we have fixed the mass, of the system, which is 1 gram. Similarly, we have Cn, which is known as molar heat capacity. This is known as molar heat capacity. Now what is molar heat capacity? It is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 mole of the system only. So if I take 1 mole here, 1 mole here, 1 mole here, so I have to supply the same amount of heat in order to increase the temperature by 1 degree Celsius. In order to increase the temperature by 1 degree Celsius. So that is why it is also an intensive property. Okay, so the intensive properties are those properties which are independent of the mass of the system, and extensive properties are those properties which depend only on the mass of the system. Okay, I am giving you a example. I am giving you an other example of intensive properties. Like we have taste. ठीक है, अगर हम टेस्ट की बात करें, फॉर एग्जांपल इफ आई टेक 1 ml of acid, then it also have the same taste, and if I take 100 ml of acid, it will also have the same taste. So taste is an intensive property because it doesn't depend on the mass of the system. So similarly we will have sugar. So sugar का अगर आप एक छोटा सा भी क्या कहते हैं, छोटा सा भी solid particle लेंगे, छोटा सा, then it will also have the same taste. If you take a large amount of sugar, then the same taste you will get. So that is why taste of any you can say taste of any anything, any liquid or solid will remain the same. It doesn't depend upon the mass of the system. So this is all about intensive and extensive property. So let's move on to work and heat. So now what is heat and what is work, how they are different from each other, let us discuss. Firstly we have heat. So heat is the energy transfer. Heat is the energy transfer. It is defined as the energy transfer due to temperature difference only. Due to temperature difference. So what is heat? It is the energy transfer due to temperature difference only, and the energy transfer which is due to temperature difference is always considered to be as heat. Okay, assume it to be as an iron rod, and am heating on this part. So the temperature is T2 over here and T1 is here. If T2 is greater than T1, then the energy will transfer from T2 to T1. Okay. So this type of energy transfer is considered to be as heat, not work. Okay. So this is due to the temperature difference, and it is the disordered form of energy. Disordered form of energy. Disordered or non-uniform. Okay, why it is disordered, not ordered, or it is non-uniform, not uniform. Okay, assume if something is burning over here, then the heat is coming from that part to me, but it is not uniform. ठीक है, अगर यहाँ पे कोई wood वगैरह burn हो रहा है, then the heating is coming, the heat will come from that part to me, but it is not in the uniform form. Okay, so that is why it is considered to be as disordered form, because same amount of heat जो है वो कभी भी ट्रांसफर नहीं होगा. ठीक है, कभी ज़्यादा कभी कम. that is why it is disordered form of energy. Okay, and the second is work. So the energy transfer, it is also the energy transfer due to anything other than temperature difference. Other than temperature difference is considered to be as work. And like we have electrical work, mechanical work. We have electrical work, mechanical work. So these are ordered form of energy. That is why it is ordered. It is an ordered form of energy. Ordered form of energy. Or it is uniform in nature. Okay. So work is uniform in nature, and we have the example electrical work, mechanical work. Electrical work is nothing but the product of electrical work is the product of EMF into quantity of electricity passed. So we will discuss this electrical work in the electrochemistry chapter in class 12th, and similarly we will have mechanical work, and in physics we will also discuss. In physics you will also come to know that work is the product of force into displacement, and we have cos theta over here, and work is in physics it is defined as the displacement. It is defined as a displacement in the direction of force applied. So work is equal to force into displacement. So I am taking displacement as L, okay, and the force dot displacement. So okay, I am taking as S. So dot product, for dot product we have cos theta. Okay, so theta is the angle between the displacement and the force. Okay, so if the force, if the direction of force is this and the direction of displacement is this, then the angle, then the theta is 0 and we will get the maximum work. And if the direction of force is this and the direction of displacement is opposite, then the angle is 180 degree and cos 180 is -1, and we will get the minimum work. Okay, the minimum work when the point of displacement and the force applied are of opposite direction, are opposite to each other. So in physics we have studied that force is work is force into displacement. So these are the two definitions of heat and work. So one more thing, heat cannot be converted 100% into work. We cannot convert 100% heat into work, but this cannot be done. And in case of work, we can easily convert 100% of work into heat. Okay, so actually it is observed in our daily life also that we cannot convert a disordered form into ordered form. Like I have a paper. Okay, now this paper is symmetrical. It is uniform with the length, some length and breadth. Now it is ordered. It is in ordered form, and in order to convert it into disordered form, I can easily convert it into disordered form by just pressing it, and now it is become disordered. And if I want to make it ordered, it is not possible for me to make it completely ordered like we have this. So it is not easy to convert disordered form into ordered form, but we can easily convert a ordered form into disordered form 100%. So this is all about heat and work. Next we have internal energy. So we will also discuss the derivation of work later after doing the reversible and irreversible process. So next we have internal energy. So what is internal energy? It is the amount of energy stored in any substance. Okay, so internal energy is the amount of energy which is stored in any particular substance, and we cannot, or it is not possible to calculate the absolute value of internal energy. Okay, so internal energy क्या है? It is the energy stored in any substance, and it is not possible for us to calculate the absolute value or the exact value of internal energy. So now what is the reason why we are not able to calculate the exact value of internal energy? So actually internal energy is the energy which is possessed by the fundamental particle of any substance. So now what are fundamental particles? Fundamental particles क्या होते हैं? Fundamental particles are the smallest particle which can give each and every information about a particular substance. For example, in case of elements, atoms are the fundamental particles. Okay, we don't need anything in case of elements. We need only atoms in order to give each and every information about elements. And in case of compounds, In case of compounds, we have molecules. Molecules are the fundamental particles. So the energy is possessed by the fundamental particles. In case of elements, we have atoms, and in case of compounds, we have molecules. So now we all know that an atom can do translation motion. So it will have translation energy. It will also do rotation. So it will have rotation energy. Similarly, it will also vibrate. So it will also have the vibration energy. Similarly, it will also absorb some amount of heat. So it will also have some amount of thermal energy. So there are a large number of energies which is possessed by the fundamental particles. So and some of the energies are not easily calculated. It is not possible for us to calculate the energies. So that is why we cannot predict what amount of energy is possessed by a particular substance. Okay, so the sum total of all the energy is equal to the internal energy, and we cannot calculate the internal energy because there are some energies which कैन नॉट बी कैलकुलेटेड. ठीक है, तो अब तक जो है वो साइंटिस्ट जो है कुछ ऐसी एनर्जीज भी हैं जिनको एग्जैक्टली कैलकुलेट नहीं कर पाए. दैट इज वाई we cannot calculate the absolute value of energy. So we can only calculate the change in the internal energy. So we can only calculate the change in the internal energy, that is delta U. Okay, internal energy is denoted by U and the change in internal energy is denoted by delta U. Okay, तो हम change निकाल सकते हैं. Okay, so for example, if the initial internal energy is U1, and if we supply some amount of heat, then its thermal energy will increase, and let's say the internal energy become U2. ठीक है, so now we can calculate the change because we know what amount of energy we have given to this particular substance. We don't know what is the value of U1 and U2, but we know what is delta U. ठीक है, तो कितना मैंने सप्लाई किया है हीट वो मुझे पता है, वहां से मैं क्या निकाल सकता हूँ, डेल्टा U निकाल सकता हूँ. ओके, so there are two methods in order to increase the internal energy. First is to supply some amount of heat and the second is by doing work. Okay, तो उस पर वर्क करना है तो भी एनर्जी क्या हो जाती है, इंक्रीज हो जाती है. फॉर एग्जांपल, if I want to raise the height of the chalk by h distance. Okay, so I have to do some amount of work. Now some amount of energy is stored in the chalk in the form of potential energy. और जैसे ही मैं इसको छोड़ूंगा, all the potential energy gets converted into kinetic energy. ठीक है, so इस particular height पे इसके अंदर कुछ ना कुछ एनर्जी पोजेस्ड रहेगी in the form of potential energy. And if I again increase the height, so I have to do some amount of work. Okay, so in order to increase the internal energy, there are two factors. The first one is by supplying heat, and the second one is by doing work on the system. So let's discuss about the different cases of internal energy. So internal energy जो है वो दो फैक्टर्स पे डिपेंड करेगी, हीट और वर्क पे, and the change in internal energy depends upon the temperature only. Okay, the change in internal energy depend on the temperature. How it depends? Because if the temperature is changing, then the internal energy will get changed only. ठीक है, if the temperature is constant, then delta U will be 0. Okay, so in isothermal process, delta U is always 0. ठीक है, we will also discuss the value of delta U in different processes like isothermal, isobaric, isochoric, as well as in adiabatic. And okay, so I am taking the first case. ठीक है, तो मैं फर्स्ट केस ले रहा हूँ यहाँ पे. फर्स्ट केस क्या है? If we have a system, okay, if we have a system and I am supplying heat, let's say it is 20, and system is doing work. Okay, so the formula for delta U is plus minus Q plus minus W. Okay, this is the main formula for, क्योंकि heat can be absorbed by the system, then it is considered to be as positive, and if heat is released by the system, then it is considered to be as negative. If work is done on the system, then it is considered to be as positive, and if work is done by the system, then it is considered to be as negative, क्योंकि उसकी internal energy क्या होगी, कम होगी. ठीक है. So I am taking the first case in which I am supplying 20 amount of heat. I am not writing the units. So I am supplying 20 amount of heat, and the system is doing 10. Is doing 10 amount of work. So delta U comes out to be, so if the heat is absorbed by the system, it is taken to be as positive. Okay. So firstly I am writing the sign conventions. Work done by the system. Work done by the system is taken as, these are the IUPAC sign conventions. IUPAC conventions. IUPAC conventions. Okay. So these are the IUPAC convention. First is work done by the system is taken to be as negative. If work is done on the system, it is taken to be as positive, and if heat is given by the system, heat is given by the system, it is taken to be as negative, and if heat is absorbed by the system, it is taken to be as positive. Okay. So you should remember these four sign conventions. These four sign conventions. Okay, so these four sign conventions. The first one is heat done by the system is taken to be as negative. The second is heat done on the system is taken to be as positive. Heat is given by the system, then it is taken to be as negative, and the last one is heat is absorbed by the system is taken to be as positive. Okay, so these are the four sign convention. Now in case number 1, the heat is absorbed by the system, that is why I am taking it as positive, and work is done by the system, I am taking it as negative. So we will get delta U is equal to 10. Okay. The second case is, if we have a system and I am supplying again heat as well as doing work, so both are taken to be as positive, we will get 20 plus 10 equal to 30. The third case जो हो सकता है हमारे पास possible is, I am also taking the system. So now work is done on the system and heat is released by the system. Okay. So now heat is negative and work is positive. So now we will get minus 10. And the last case is case number 4. The next possibility is, if again I have a system, and if heat is if work is done by the system and heat is also released by the system. Okay. So now both are taken to be as negative, and delta U will be minus 20 minus 10, and we will have minus 30. Okay. So this is the value for delta U in the last case. So we have 4 different cases on the basis of amount of heat released or absorbed, or the work is done by the system or done on the system. Okay. So this is all about the internal energy and internal energy change, and these 4 IUPAC sign conventions are quite important, and you should keep in your mind these 4 IUPAC IUPAC sign conventions. And in case of physics, these sign conventions are opposite. Okay. Or these sign conventions are different in case of physics. These are only applicable in case of chemistry. Okay. So this much is quite enough for this particular lecture, and I hope you found this lecture helpful, and thank you so much.